A lot of people, I think every people say that they love themselves. He or she love oneself, but in reality, they don't love themselves because they keep harming themselves, harming their own body and harming their own mind. People harm their body through taking the unhealthy food, or worse, the liquor or narcotics, which is very bad for their own health. But if you don't take that kind of stuff, you take healthy food and you refrain from liquor or alcohol or cigarettes, still it is very likely that you harm your mind. You hurt yourself mentally or spiritually by harboring the anger or hatred or anxiety in your mind. And if we allow such negative emotions to take control of our mind, if we hold the anger or any grudge in our mind, we already hurt ourselves, we already harm ourselves, and that is not the characteristic of people who love themselves. If you love yourself, you have to take care of your body and mind. You have to take healthy food and have enough rest. If you love yourself, you should take care of your mind, not allow the negative emotion to take control of your mind. It is very difficult. In fact, I agree that we cannot stop or keep anger, hatred, or negative emotion from our mind. It can take place anytime in our mind, but don't allow any of them to take control or overwhelm your mind. Just learn to let go of this negative emotion. Nowadays, people not only allow the negative emotion to take control of our mind, but we also try to protect it. We try to protect anger. We try to protect hatred in our mind. When we are asked to forgive anybody, we tend to disregard this advice. A lot of people don't want to forgive to anybody who treating them badly. But to do that is to protect the anger. Why should we protect the anger in our mind if we have self-love? If we love ourselves, we should see that it is very urgent. It is the urgency to let go of the anger. But people refuse to let go. People refuse to forgive. Despite the fact that forgiveness is a way to get rid of anger and hatred from our mind. Why we refuse? because we become the protector of the anger. Not only anger, not only hatred, but also sorrow. We try to hold the sorrow, despite the fact that sorrow is not good for our mind. It hurts our mind, it hurts our body. But when we are overwhelmed by sorrow, what people do normally, they just sit still, sit idle, and bring their mind back to the tragic event, to the past event, to increase their sorrow. If we love ourselves, we have to reduce the sorrow as soon as possible, not to increase it, not to become overwhelmed by it. When we have sorrow, what kind of song we listen to? Mostly people listen to the song that increase their sorrow. Not the happy song, not the march, but the song about broken heart, to which is only deepening the sorrow in our mind. If we love ourselves, we should try to let go of the sorrow by become at the present moment, not linger on the past. But we keep going back to the past, to the negative past. Why? Because we don't love ourselves. We love to maintain sorrow, including anger and hatred. When our friends try to bring us to other places to have activities in order to reduce our sorrow, what is our reaction? We refuse their invitation. We will say that don't bother with me. I want to stay alone. Leave me alone. Why? Because we want to maintain the sorrow in our mind. We refuse to go to do activities or to go to somewhere else, interesting places. We should know that going there will bring us become happy and be free from sorrow. But most people just refuse. This is not the character of people who have self-love. So I think that this is why I say that most people, they don't love themselves. They love to maintain anger. They love to protect sorrow and hatred. And worse, a lot of people keep blaming oneself, themselves. They hate themselves, because they think that they are not worthy, because they keep thinking about the mistake they have done in the past, the wrongdoing they have done to the beloved ones, to the parents, to their children, or to the spouse. Mistake is natural. Everybody make mistake. If we love ourselves, we should forgive ourselves. Don't dwell into the past mistake and keep blaming or punishing oneself. Just learn to forgive. Forgiveness is important for our happiness. Not only forgive other people who harm ourselves, we should forgive ourselves too. By accepting the mistake, by confronting the mistake, don't push it, don't try to suppress it. If we accept the mistake, and learn from it, we can reduce the guilt in our mind. Nowadays people hold a lot of guilt. Just learn how to handle with the guilt, not to forget it, but to forgive ourselves, and then we can start a new life and have a bright future. So love yourself, by let go every negative emotion. Don't harbor anger. Don't bear the grudge against anybody or anything, and just to love yourself, forgive and pardon yourself, because we are the human being, and every human being cannot avoid mistake. I think mistake is not the problem. The problem is how we deal with the mistake. If we use it to harm ourselves, that is very unhealthy. We cannot be recover from self-hate. But if we learn from the mistake, our mind can be free from suffering and our life can be improved. Self-love means learning to be happy from every situation, and ideally we can be happy in every moment. Just appreciate every occasion that can be a happy moment for us. Even the sick, even the bereaved people can find happiness from every situation. The Buddha once said that the wise people, despite facing the suffering, can find happiness. So if we encounter negative situation, just learn how to uplift ourselves from suffering and see happiness from every moment. I think this is the characteristic of the people who love themselves. Try to open their mind for happiness, for wisdom that that come to our life in every moment. There's a huge difference between self-love and selfish. Because if you are selfish, you are open your mind for negative emotions, for defilements. And we found that the more people are selfish, the more the rest happiness we can find or can achieve. Because if we are very selfish, we never feel content with what we have. We never feel enough. Anybody who don't feel enough find no suffering. Only people who know what is enough and can experience the sense of enough can find contentment, and through contentment, happiness develop in your mind. Worse, if you are selfish, is likely to commit bad behavior, to harm other people, to steal or to exploit other people, and such behavior invite suffering to you. If you steal, if you do corruption, you feel unhappy with what you are doing, and later on you have to take the cost of that behavior, punishment or imprisonment. Selfish can bring temporary happiness, can bring happiness for a while, but it costs the long-term suffering. It can bring you happiness, for example, 10% or 20%. The rest, 80%, is suffering as the consequence or the outcome. So, if you want happiness, you should reduce selfishness. The true happiness is achieved not through possession or through consumption, not through having. Real happiness can be experienced when we do good things, when we give rather getting or consuming. And the selfish people don't know how to give, don't know how to do good things. They know only how to acquire, how to consume, how to have more and more. And they never feel enough. They never feel real happiness. They may feel or achieve happiness for a while, but after that, suffering, long-term suffering. A lot of people who, because of selfishness, have a lot of money, success, fame, but they don't experience the real happiness. A lot of people find that their life become empty, no meaning in their life. They think that if they have more, they'll be satisfied, but never feel satisfaction because they want more and more. In fact, the problem is not because they don't have enough money. The real problem is they don't have enough peace. And this happen, the lack of peace occur to selfish people. They have a lot of money, but no peace, no contentment. and no friends, no people who really love them. But if you are generous people, you become easily happy through giving, through generosity. And it is easy for you to become content with what you have. It is easy for you to feel enough. And then peace is the outcome. Happiness and meaningful life is the outcome. And this is the characteristic of people who have self-love. They are happy with their life. And they have a lot of friends. A lot of real friendship. So that's why I say that there is a huge difference between self-love and selfishness. The more you become selfish, the less real happiness you achieve. And if you learn to love yourself properly, you can find peace and happiness easily. Love oneself and love the others are not contradictory. In fact, they are the same. Because if you love yourself, you need to cultivate peace and happiness. And for peace and happiness to take place in your mind, you need to love the other people. Because through giving, through compassion, through generosity, you can find happiness. You can find the meaning of your life. And this is what people who love oneself would like to achieve. A lot of people, can overcome suffering, overcome bereavement through helping the others, become the volunteers, helping the people who get sick. They themselves already grieve, already sorrow because of losing the beloved one. But instead of just sit still or stand still, they go to help the other people, and they find that their sorrow, their grief reduced, and peace return to their life. Our happiness and the other's happiness are not separated. The more we help people become happy, the more happiness we achieve. If you love yourself, you want happiness. That can be done through helping the others. The Buddha said that people who give happiness to the others have happiness to oneself in return. One of my friends, she got cancer, lung cancer. After medication, she recovered. But a few years later, she got cancer again, lung cancer, this time more serious. And the doctor said she has 2 years left. She feels sad and upset and frustrated. But somehow, a friend invites her to be volunteer in the hospital, especially helping the children who are in the end stage. And after being a volunteer for many months, she finds joy and happiness. And somehow her cancer disappeared. 10 years already that she finds no cancer in her lung. Her mind and her body become healthy, not through selfishness, but through the act of generosity. She even said that volunteerism, is the great chemotherapy. So, if you want healthy mind, healthy body, you should learn to love other people, help the other people with compassion, with sincerity, and then your mind and your body become healthy. But anyway, when we help anybody, sometimes we have an attachment about accomplishment. Just learn to let go, because the accomplishment that we long for is the accomplishment of myself. It's a kind of craving. It's a kind of selfishness. A lot of people help people with the attachment of ego. They don't know. But this is a kind of selfishness. Want approval. So we have to be aware that we don't help people just to gratify our ego. We do it not for ourselves, not for our ego, but for the benefit of the people. That will bring the real joy and happiness to our life. So if we want to be the people who really love oneself, just try to develop positive quality of mind, generosity, compassion, concentration, and mindfulness. Especially mindfulness, will help us to let go of the anger, hatred, sorrow, and guilt. It can protect our mind from being overwhelmed by these emotions. It is inevitable to occur in our mind, but we can protect our mind from being overwhelmed by these emotions, and mindfulness is very important. Apart from wisdom is the understanding of the real nature of body, mind, and the world. Will help us to let go of any defilement and any craving. And if no craving, if no defilement, no anger, no hatred can take place in our mind, and we can live happily, with joy and happiness and peace.